Hi, this is Fred Quire, the Diamond Guy, and this is?
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Mahaffey with St. Luke's Episcopal Hospital in Houston, Texas. I've been an emergency physician there for about 15 years.
The reason I've asked Mark to join me here, other than the fact he's considered one of the top doctors on the planet, in my opinion, is we want to talk about wedding bands today and your health and your security and your safety. Mark, I want to go backwards in time just a little bit. When somebody comes into an ER, is it important or not important to take off jewelry that they have?
Well, Fred, if you've been in some sort of trauma or stung by a wasp or something that would cause swelling to your hand or fingers, you want to remove all jewelry from those areas as quickly as possible before the swelling sets in.
So let's go backwards. Back in the day, the typical types of bands that you had to try to get off somebody, wedding bands, were made out of silver or gold or platinum. And I happen to know that about 3 months ago, your ER got a new diamond-tipped saw to remove bands.
Yes, we have a machine now, which our facility is a major urban hospital, and so we have the opportunity to receive the latest technology as soon as it comes out. With this machine, we can remove silver, gold, or platinum wedding bands in about 10 seconds.
Wow. Now, you seem pretty proud about that in 10 seconds. Why is that critical? I mean, if somebody comes in with some other kind of health issue, is it obviously very important to get this off quickly so that you can get to the matter at hand?
If you've got a constricting band around your finger and you've had some trauma that causes swelling, the blood supply to that part of the finger is going to be restricted and even stopped. And when that happens, you have a limited amount of time in which to save that finger. Unfortunately, many people come into the emergency department with more than one injury. If they've been in a car accident or had some sort of trauma, the finger is going to be not as important as the other trauma that they've sustained. In order to fully evaluate the patient, for example, you're going to have to do a CAT scan of their head, their chest, and their belly in major trauma. The finger is going to take a back seat.
So what you're saying to me, if I understand what you're saying, is that the reason St. Luke's Hospital is considered one of the top hospitals in the world is you don't want to waste even a second trying to remove a wedding band. You want to get that band off, the jewelry off, so if they're having a heart attack or a CAT scan or anything else that needs to be done, you can get to those things.
Right.
Now, so obviously you've got the latest, best diamond cutting devices that's on the planet that you can get the soft metals off. But let's switch it up for a second. What if somebody comes in and they've got stainless steel? Or what about titanium? Talk to me about those metals.
Well, before the advent of this motorized diamond blade ring cutter machine, it used to be quite a challenge to remove these. And unfortunately, for many outlying emergency departments out in the country, say, that's still going to be a bit of a challenge for them because they don't have yet the technology to remove these quickly. But for us, we can cut through these items in about a minute.
Okay, so we've gone from 10 seconds to about 60 seconds or so, about a minute. All right, let's take it to another level. We've already talked about cobalt, melting point, about 1600 or so degrees melting point. So a pretty hard metal. How long will it take with the best equipment you've got to cut through this? How long can you get through this? I know you know a little bit about this.
Well, as you know, Fred, in order to cut a cobalt ring off of the finger, it has to be cut twice. After you cut through the first half of the ring will not expand. You don't have a tool to effectively expand the ring. So you have to cut the other side. So you actually have to make two cuts and create two halves, which can then easily fall off the finger. In order to do that effectively, it requires about 10 minutes, which is quite a long time when you're considering other problems that the patient might have.
Now, I saw there are videos that are on the web that show that it was done as quickly as 5 minutes. But I do happen to know that you talked to the people who make the equipment.
Yes, I spoke to the jewelry supplier that actually put that video out, and they said realistically you're looking at 10 minutes, not 5.
So not to rush it.
Yeah, because the diamond tip on the saw blade is sensitive to heat, and if you create too much of a pressure when you're cutting through the ring, you're going to destroy the blade and render it ineffective against any kind of cutting.
Now let's talk about tungsten. What kind of problems does this create for the
Well, the problem with
physician?
tungsten, Fred, is you don't cut tungsten. You use another method which involves a very large and scary looking appliance called a vice grip. And if you're not familiar with the use of a vice grip, to see one approaching your hurt finger in an emergency department is not something that we want to expose patients to if we don't have to. So the fewer people that buy tungsten, the better. Tungsten has to be cracked off. You use pressure on the vice grips to actually explode the ring away from your finger. And theoretically, the problem is that you don't always know where those pieces are going to go. Theoretically, one of those pieces could implode onto your finger and into your finger, causing possible nerve damage or arterial bleeding or other damage that you actually did not go into that ER with. So my advice is to not ever use tungsten for a wedding band.
So Mark, sum it up for us. The reality is we've covered the precious metals, the silver, the gold, the platinum. We've talked about what you have to get through on the alternative metals like stainless and titanium, and if you want to call them the dangerous alternative metals of cobalt and tungsten. But what's
my personal message to you and to people who are looking to buy a ring? As an emergency physician, I'm always attuned to the potential dangers of behavior. And my personal preference among these metals would be the old-fashioned silver, gold, and platinum. But we've also demonstrated that with the new technology, you can cut through stainless steel and titanium relatively quickly, and these, as I understand, are not very expensive.
Right.
However, with cobalt and tungsten, I believe you're putting yourself into an unnecessary risk. I don't see the necessity of having such a strong material that a lot of emergency departments are not going to have the ability to cut through, particularly the outlying ERs in the rural communities. And even the urban centers like St. Luke's, where I work, we only obtained 3 months ago the diamond tipped blade to cut through some of these other metals. So I would never use these. I would never ask my wife to wear one of those.
So it's not worth losing a finger for the one you love. Mark, thank you very much. I'm Fred Quare, the Diamond Guy. We'll talk to you next time.